Richard ready? Okay, so Richard, let's listen to your presentation. Please, may I know the presenters who are here, those presenting?
Yes, if you are presenting,
please come and take your seat here. Maud, and then Rock. Okay, so it happens that Akwabwa is here, but in the person of Mr. Rock Hansen. Let's welcome him. So you have 15 minutes to present, and then later I wait for Q&A.
Thank you. Good afternoon. I think that my name is Emmanuel Rock Hansen, and then this paper was done by the support of Dr. Ali Sadebra, Dr. Adam Rahman, and then Dr. Bernard Benua. My name was mentioned at Akwabwa because of the paper that I'm presenting. I'm presenting on the music produced by Akwabwa, the local Ghanaian musician. So when I heard the name Akwabwa, I said, hey, and then the Akwabwa for the because I thought there was going to be a guitarist here before my turn, but I realized that it was the same person they were referring to. Anyway, so the name of the music is Pressure, and I believe most of us have heard this music before. And the music video was made in 3D. I did a 3D, but today I'm not going to talk about the technicalities of it. I'm going to look at the impact of that video. This is just a shot of it, and then I will start with how the whole idea evolved. The client approached me with a request for a video clip, and therefore that was where the actual problem started. And as I said, I'm not going to tackle the technicalities, so I'll quickly go to the impact aspect. So after the video was done, I therefore decided to find out if the video has really made the necessary impact. Because the pressure simulates or narrates about the ordeal, the societal trauma that the youth of today, go through when it comes to socio-economic challenges, people trying to show off with fake lifestyles, and then they buying pressure for, innocent young males and females. So the video is a narrative video, and then it symbolizes this aspect whereby people decide or people pretend to have it, but in reality, they are all borrowed stuffs or they are fake stuffs. And if you follow in that vein, or if you follow their steps, trying to emulate them. By the time you realize you found yourself in a big problem. So the few questions that I decided to inquire, how the video visually translates the theme of pressure into compelling narrative using 3D animation. And then what cultural symbols are embedded in the animations and how do they reflect the Ghanaian social realities. It's also going to look at in what ways does the technical approach, that is the modeling, animation, lighting, these are few 3D animation terminologies, forgive me for that, how they contribute to the emotional tone of the entire animation. All right, so this study falls under qualitative studies, so that was the methodology used. And some of the devices that was used to collect the data where visual analysis, as in the video, was being analyzed. And then I also looked at the semiotic aspect of it because it is a story that was told. And I wanted to find out if the story has made its necessary impact. So whichever scenes that comes, and then whichever audio that follows it, I did some sampling, and then out of that I was able to ascertain whether the symbolism has made a necessary impact or not. And I also looked at the color scheme of it. That will also bring the visual tone, the audio synchronization, as I've mentioned earlier on, the props and environment, cultural symbolism. And then lastly, I looked at the animation of the characters. As I said earlier on, I used a purposive sampling, and then I sampled 3 categories or 3 particular people within my scope. I looked at professionals, I looked at educators, and I looked at consumers. The consumers could be you or I. So after I've done the data analysis, I got to realize that, yes, to the larger extent, the impact has been made. Even as of yesterday, I checked from the YouTube. You can check Akwaboah pressure from YouTube. You can see. I think that the comments that were given by the viewers even translate to what I was able to deduce or what I was able to come up with from my data collection. I came out with a very conclusive remarks that, yes, the video has made a positive impact. These are some few scenes, and I'm holding the video for the end of this. All right, so these are some few key findings that was made. The narrative depth of it, based on the people that I contacted, they were able to convince me that, yeah, the video was able to sell the story and then was able to make due diligence to it in the narrative aspect. The ethical message was there, as in people should be able to learn how to wait unto God, but not to follow fake people that we see on the social media. The emotional aspect of it was where a guy who felt, when he takes this 10, might get him the necessary or the expected result, but it ended up to be something different altogether. And then the technological aspect is where, the technicalities come in a little bit. Now, after this, we would like to recommend that we wish the institutions to integrate the learning of 3D animation. Because I believe that this morning we were talking about AI, and then I was quiet because if we should start the discussion of AI, I think it can even take a week or 2. 3D is another very viable area that is really making a lot of headwaves. when you look at the movies that we watch these days, about 85 to 90% are CG. CG means computer generated. And therefore, if we should begin to really adapt this style of storytelling or this style of artistry, I think that is going to really help our economy. I also want to look at the promotion of this in our ethical storytelling way, whereby, whilst we're growing, we're taught a lot of ethical values. But today, the influx of computer, phones, and social media has really, moved a lot of the young ones from these core values. And then to create collaboration networks, that is, the artists should also try to merge with the industry. In my area, the industry was a musician that I collaborated or I worked with. And then this medium can also be used to document or archive happenings. One thing that was also quite certain in the video was that the motion were a little bit jerky, even though there was a technical explanation to it. But then, since I wasn't looking at the technical aspect, I think that is one of the recommendations that was made and therefore has to be looked at in the near future. So I will end the slideshow here, and then I'll quickly go to the animation.
from. Every day to Jah I pray to bless me every day. Man, you see me, yeah. This is my little prayer. Hello, leave me alone. Hello, leave me alone. Am I be a mommy pressure? Am I be a mommy pressure? Media one more than self-vacancy. Am I be a mommy pressure? Am I be a mommy pressure? Am I be a mommy pressure? Media one more than self-vacancy. Am I be a mommy pressure? Am I be a mommy pressure? Am I be a mommy pressure? Media one more than self-vacancy. Am I be a mommy pressure? Am I be a mommy pressure? Am I be a mommy pressure? Media one more than self-vacancy. Am I be a mommy pressure?
Thank you.
Thank you, Rock, for giving us so much pressure this afternoon. So you wait for the Q&A session. The next presenter is Maud Shaw. That's his name. All right. Presenting on everyday icons and the aesthetics of pop art. You are welcome.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. My name is Moshal. I'm presenting on everyday icons and the aesthetics of pop arts. One may ask, what is everyday icons? So everyday icons are the objects that we find around us. An example can be Coke tin. And then pop art, also it's a type of art, a type of art movement that began in the middle of the 20th century and challenged by boundaries like between fine art and mass culture. By using commonplace items and popular imagery such as comic strips, and then advertisements and celebrity portraits, we can combine this to come out with various designs. In today's fast-paced technology-driven society, there is a tendency to overlook and underrate the everyday objects that we find around us. We seem to forget them. But with the help of pop art, we can address this issue and then complement them by introducing or solving the societal problem by combining playful, catchy, bold colors and modern symbols in our communities. So our objectives: to explain how everyday icons are represented and reinterpreted through the aesthetics of pop art, to analyze the cultural and social meanings attached to these icons and how they influence perception of identity and consumer culture, and to explore how contemporary designers can adapt pop art strategies to critically engage with visual culture in the digital era. So these are my research questions. Then I went ahead to look at a theoretical framework to back it. So when you take the first icon of the first variable on the theoretical framework, you can see observe. So in our community, we need to observe what goes around or goes around us, and then we reflect on it. Based on the reflection, we can plan something, and then we create whatever we want to plan. So I went ahead and then worked on the conceptual framework. My team, the sub-themes that I use, the first one was everyday objects at icons. Then you move on to the low status items. Then you move on to appreciation. We need to appreciate anything that we find around us. We should be mindful of whatever is around us, and then we need to be content with everything that is around us. And then as we are in the technological age, we also come in with these tools like the 3Ds to come out with a design. Methodology. I use the qualitative methodology. I use qualitative, and then I use interview, focus group, and focus group discussion for my data collection. And then my population was youth in the Pechi number 2, a subset of Kumasi metropolis. And then my sample size was 20. Research findings. Design choices were deeply influenced by the desire, such as mass-produced items, celebrity culture, and commercial themes. It inevitably interacts with complex histories and engaged cultural conventions. This was spoken or said by Kel 2000. So I went ahead to look out for some designs. These designs or these outfits are mostly used by the youth. So the printed aspect is from the pop artists. That is what they normally, some of the images, icons, they normally use comic ionics to design whatever, and then bold and catchy colors. So that is what they use to design. That represents pop art, if I should put it that way. So the first design talks about the bold and vibrant designs. This is a feature of pop art. By incorporating iconic images from daily life into fashion, it prompts wearers and observers to acknowledge and celebrate the small yet meaningful aspects of their routines. Then the second design also is a comic style print is used in the dress style. The comic print portrays a feature of the pop art movement. Wearers are dimly reminded to appreciate their surroundings, reinforcing mindfulness in their daily routine. So this also talks about bold colors, talking about the same pop art. So that is my last design. So in conclusion, by embracing the everyday icons, by embracing the everyday icon theme, we can help cultivate a renewed appreciation for the ordinary, fostering mindfulness, contentment, and a deeper connection to the present moment. Through the use of semiotics, iconography, and common aesthetics, these studies demonstrate the deeply ways in which pop art elevated the ordinary to the extraordinary. Now, future studies should integrate art history, culture theory, and design studies to deepen understanding of how everyday aesthetics influence contemporary art and design practices. Institutions and educators should use pop art, familiar imagery, as an entry point to introduce wider audience to critically concepts in art, semiotics, and cultural critique. Designers, advertisers, and artists should draw from pop art strategies to critically engage with today's consumer culture, digitally imagery, and social media iconography. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You may take your seats, awaiting Q&A. Now, the next presenter is Mr. Richard Deshan. Okay, so Richard is presenting on the topic exploring the integration of traditional symbols and gestures into emoji development, a Ghanaian cultural perspective. That could be interesting. Welcome.
Thank you. Good evening. My project is okay. So my project, as we have heard, is going into the exploration of the ways we can integrate symbols and gestures into emoji development. For purposes of time, I will focus mostly on the symbols, right? So now all of us have devices in our pockets, be our phones, tablets, and other things we have, which have massive power and ways we can use to do so much, which is basically to communicate. But one thing we usually don't pay attention to with all these assets we have on our devices are emojis. And it has been a subject of interest to me for a while, and I wanted to look into it as a project. So the background to the study is that with the rise of social media in recent years and then the proliferation of devices, smartphones and smart gadgets, there has been the explosion of ways we want to communicate in very simple and fast ways. We want to also visualize emotions a lot. As Mr. Rock was presenting, you could see some symbols showing all those witty facial things. Those were the smileys, and all these things are used to help give emotion and kind of direction, or let me say warmth to our communication these days. And emojis have grown to become accepted to a point even debatable as if they are a language on its own. I think MoMA in 2019, that's Museum of Modern Art, acquired the first 176 emojis that were originally designed and used as an art piece that was displayed. And it's in their permanent collection. So it has brought more focus on emojis as something reminiscent of how technology started, let's say lights and other technological development came up. And this has been something that I have seen grow from the time they started coming around, like the simple emoticons and smileys and gradually yellow illustrations of faces and all that, to the point where they started adding skin tone colors and all that. And looking at these, they are also reminiscent of the pictograms. when we look at the cave art and the cavemen, they were displaying their communication in forms of pictograms, and at some point, even cuneiforms, that's ideograms, and all those things came in. Those are symbols that could embody messages, not just the pictures they represent. So I looked at it, and I realized that a symbol like the jinyame has been talked about a lot, used for decorations, earrings, ornaments, and sculpture pieces. So much projects have been conducted, and it has encompassed jinyame, sankofa, and the Adinkra symbols at large. But at some point, I spoke with Professor Glover about the symbols, and he mentioned that they are becoming merely decorative at a point, but they have communicative powers that we are not using it. And it brought the two together. How can we still communicate using Adinkra symbols the way we use emojis on the social media to communicate? So that's how this project got birthed. And the emojis are I can say that they are a new universal language, kind of, because they are easily understood when expressed or used in conjunction with typing. And you don't need so much explanation to do unless it has a bit of specifics. And as our theme says, bridging cultures and inspiring innovation, these symbols are able to bridge cultures. I can communicate in emojis, and people from different areas can quickly understand what we are saying. And even groups, generational groups, can communicate something that I wouldn't necessarily understand until they explain to me, then I will pick it. So I've been looking at it, and but African cultures are barely represented. We can see the Japanese symbols and different Indian symbols and all that. But when it comes to African symbols, they are usually termed tokenism, which means they represent our Africa with few symbols. Let's say a mud hat, okay, or a cheetah, or an elephant to mean Africa. So if you type anything Africa, usually those are the things that come out. And with all these things, it became necessary for me to look into it. All right, so these are the research questions. I looked at how these traditional symbols and gestures, as I said, I'm focused on tradition for this, the symbols for this presentation. How can these symbols be transformed into emojis that actually speak our culture? Not just decorative. I've just posted it. I remember someone wanted to send a get well soon card to a friend, and that card, in using different Adinkra symbols, had the Owatwe there on it. All right. The person didn't understand the symbol, but Owatwe there was part of the symbols on a get well soon card. And as Madam Constance spoke this morning, we can integrate our cultural element into our designs. We don't do the research, and then we pick Adinkra symbols are African, so we use it, and we don't know what it says. So these things, we can look at it, and that's where I paid attention to it. And how can we make the digital charts feel more Ghanaian? And I looked at what popular symbols that I can use, because my focus isn't on the Adinkra themselves, but how we can. So I looked at the popular symbols people know, Sankofa, Jinyame, Adinkra Hene, and all that. And what are the semiotic and cultural significance of the select symbols? So the semiotics will look at how symbols are used in communication and how the generation or the culture using it interprets it. Okay, so these are the angles I looked at for the literature review. The methodology, I looked at art-based research, and for the approach I used in constructing these or exploring the creation of the symbols, I used the design-based studio research methodology. The population I looked at were all emoji users and people who also use Adinkra symbols. But accessibly, I used the 20 students who are my students, so I used convenience sampling to do that. And they represent the demography fairly, because usually the youthful stage are people who are exploring with the symbols and how to use it and how to purposeful. My parents use it, and it's usually the thumbs up, the thank you, or the prayer, and the available ones. But the youth usually mix symbols to mean different things. And that's why it was interesting for me, because they need to understand the Adinkra symbols to a point and how we can even incorporate it and retain the sensibilities these symbols have. Data collection method, I use the document analysis and looking at archival books and other interviews and everything. As I said, much project has been done on it. I did participant observation and field notes through WhatsApp and other social media and with my students. And I had a focus group interview. And after everything, I had a design workshop where we sat down and talked about it. Well, I used 3 theories. It's still an ongoing project, so I go back and forth. But I looked at the multimodal theory, which talks about using visuals, text, and gestures, and so many modes or areas of communication. You bring all of them together to communicate, not just one. And the semiotic theory also looked at how signs and symbols are used to make meaning, and then the design-based approach, which are used in constructing or designing the final work. So this all came together to form it. Okay. So now I looked at the design-based research, and it's cyclical. I can't go into details, but it's cyclical because you start from a point, you question, and you create something, and you test it out, and based on feedback, you put it back in, and you go back again to the process until you arrive at the end project. All right, it's iterative. Then from there, I looked at the pre-production. So this is where I started researching and picking the symbols as they are common, and started making my sketches and drawing them quickly so that I would know what to do with it. Then I went on Photoshop, scouted my ideas, looked at other ideas online, see how they are relatable, and based off of that, I was able to come with illustrations, right? Quick illustrations with, this is where I also collaborated with an illustrator so that we could get the illustrations to look youthful and interesting. Then I got them scanned and illustrated it. And this example is the Dinkrahini. The format I used was to have the symbol with a visual icon so that the two can easily be put together. Something that will help people visualize it. When I say Dinkrahini, how would you understand? At least when you see a chief sitting down, you know that, okay, this is a king or a chief. So this symbol talks something about that. So that's the angle I went through. Right. So this is about my creation method. That's what I've talked about. But when I finished, one thing I realized, which was a challenge, was the Emoji Consortium, the Unicode Consortium. They are a body that regulates how the symbols are used. You know, when the symbols came up, they were used for basic text messaging, use brackets and comma and all those things to create the emotions. And when the devices started becoming advanced, they introduced the smileys, and then the objects started coming. When it was put together and people started using it, you realize that if I'm on iPhone and I send a message to Android platform, it wouldn't appear the same way or come with a box, which shows that there's no synchronicity here. So the consortium, which is in charge of typefaces and regulating everything, decided to take hold of the emojis as well and code it so that it would appear the same. That's where the challenge came. So they have a standard, and everybody needs to meet that standard if you want your emoji to be allowed on there. And emojis have become identities. People are pushing for themselves to be seen in it. I mean, dog lovers are pushing for particular dogs. Let's say I love Labrador, so I want Labrador emoji to be part of the emoji list on their phones. And you apply, and then they will sit down and debate, and if they accept it, they accept it. So it has become something stiff. But for us, we realize that most of the Edinkra symbols don't have or can't fit a square format. And because these are devices, and devices display pixels, they want a particular square format. So I borrowed or fell on AI, all right, to help what I design to be able to fit a square format. It's still part of the exploration I was having, and it's a tool. So I had to learn how to use this tool to be able to incorporate what I have done to fit the requirement. So I did this, right? And to code this, I had to look at various emojis and how they are represented. and start describing it. 2 minutes, right? So based off of this, then I went on. So these are some of Anasintintai and then some of the other symbols. That's Jinyame and its symbols. So I showed it to my students. I did visual analysis. That's basically describing the work, and the semiotic analysis will look at how it communicates, and made my students talk about it and play with it. And most of them were happy with it and wanted it to be incorporated, used. Some took pictures of it that they will use it to send to their friends and all that. And I looked at all this and recommend that we move more into pushing our symbols into the spaces, the digital spaces, not only to be consumers, but creators as well. So I'm still exploring this, and this is what I have now. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Richard Eshan, for that presentation. I want you to continue noting your questions down so that you bring them up during the Q&A session. We have one more online presentation. He's ready. It's called Wisdom. So we invite him presently to make his presentation. Let's keep our questions down. Thank you. So Wisdom, do you hear me?
Yes, I hear you, sir.
Okay. Wisdom, can you hear me, Wisdom?
I hear you, Prof.
Okay, so you have... Go ahead.
Okay, Prof. Thank you for the opportunity. My name is Wisdom Awume, and I'm presenting on reimagining support for children's home through mobile application design. This research is a case study of a children's home located in Winneba. Yeah, so this research actually is an ongoing research, and I want to share so far what I have found and how I plan on tackling issues associated with children's home management system. Okay, so in my introduction, I'm looking at some how children's home management is being perceived across the world in Ghana and elsewhere. So in Ghana, many orphanages, including Methodist Rafiki Society Village, operate with minimum resources. So I'm talking about I'm presenting on the ongoing research project that explores how we can use mobile application design to improve the way children's home receive support. Yes, as I said earlier, this research is focused on Rafiki Satellite Village. So in many children's homes in Ghana, resources are structured in a way that children's homes are not able to receive the adequate resources and help that they need. Even though some people have the edge or will to donate to these orphanages, there are a lot of issues that come with donating to orphanages. Some of the issues are knowing or identifying, let's say, authentic orphanages or children's homes. And sometimes when we donate, we don't have that feedback and engagement. Sometimes we don't even know what the donations are being used for. So this research typically tackles how donors are able to engage with children's home and know what their donations are being used for. So the purpose of the study now is to, the purpose is to investigate how a user-centered mobile application. So the way of solving this problem is I'm proposing to develop a mobile application which has features that can help promote and generate income, and donors will be able to engage more with children's homes and orphanages. Yeah, so the main objectives of this research is to explore the effectiveness of the current donation method. So we are going to look at the current donation method, which the orphanage use, the children's home use, that's through mobile money, bank transfers, and in-person donations. And we are going to, that's one of the objectives, to identify the current donation methods. And then after identifying the methods, we are going to prototype and test a mobile application that will help improve the management system. So after looking at the current donation method that the orphanage or the children's home uses, we're going to propose a prototype and test a mobile application, get feedback from stakeholders and field donors to test the app and give feedback. Then after considering all this, we'll develop and implement the final mobile application that will be used as the main function. So some of the literature that will be reviewed in this research will be mobile giving trends in Africa. Yeah, so study shows a rise in mobile-based donations. So there are a lot of mobile phones coming into the system now, and technology now is moving so fast that every platform or every institution is moving digitally to be able to make their work faster and then reliable. So we are going to look at the mobile giving trends in Africa, and we are going to look at trust and transparency. So when donors willingly donate to orphanages, how transparent is the children's home? How is the money being used? How is the donation being used? Are the children getting the exact need that they want through the donations that donors give? And then we are going to look at the UI, UX principles in charity apps. Yes. So some of the main methodology that will be used in this research will be qualitative, where I'll gather data from the field, the orphanage itself, and then user-centered design. So user-centered design here means I'm going to involve users in the developmental process of the app. Yeah, so they're going to give me their feedback, what they think would be essential for the app. Yeah, so I'm going to involve users, stakeholders into the development of this app. So as I said, engaging potential users, donors, and orphanage staff through interviews and usability testing. Then I'll develop the prototype using mobile development and prototyping tools. Then some of the main and most prominent features that this app will have is the donation management system. So the donation management system here is will tackle how donations are being made. So being it transaction, that's monetary aspects, and then in-person donations. You know, sometimes these orphanages don't have a system that donors can really book an appointment to say, oh, this particular date, they will be coming to do donations, that the children's home will be able to have enough time to make arrangements for them. And so sometimes it's impromptu donations because there's no scheduling system that will help donors schedule a particular day to make donations. And the second most important feature will be the impact story hub. So this feature shares success story, children's progress, fostering and donor engagement. So there will be a separate feature on the app which will allow the orphanage post stories of the children, the success story, being it educational milestone, being it self-improvement or something that the children has achieved. This particular aspect of the app is going to help the orphanage post stories of the children so that donors will be able to connect with the children. And then last but not the least, the Aspiration Support Network. That will be a mentorship platform connecting children with professionals and role models to support their personal development. So this aspect of the app is going to allow donors who go onto the app to make donations find stories and yes of the children. So example, if a child is interested in going into music or playing a musical instrument, a mentor or someone who is already in that profession can volunteer to mentor the child in helping the child aspire or yes, helping the child go on to the way that the child wants to go. So this aspect of the app is going to help professionals in the field mentor these children to achieve their goals. Then expected impact. So the expected outcome of this research is going to increase trust between donors and children's home. So as I said earlier, the transparency aspect of donating to orphanages, this research is going to bridge that gap by allowing donors to get real-time progress on what their money is being used or what their donations is being used. So there'll be trust between donors and orphanages or children's home. It will also boost donation frequency and consistencies. So if donors are able to connect with the children and are able to get real-time updates on what their donations are being used, it will encourage donors to donate more to these orphanages and children's home. Then, as I said, it will enable real-time need-based giving. So some children's home don't have a system that channel the specific needs that children have. So if the app is going to allow orphanages or Rafiki satellite village to post the specific need that they really need, maybe a particular child is in need of a surgery. If the orphanage or the children's home is able to update that, then users and donors will be able to know the specific need that the orphanage need and then do the contributions towards that. And also serve as a blueprint for philanthropic tech in Ghana and across the continent. So this research is going to serve as a model for other institutions to adapt, other orphanages to adapt and also implement mobile-based applications into activities that is geared towards social change. Thank you.
Cubism philosophy. The presentation outline, introduction, upcycling, stroke recycling, Cubism, the facets of Cubism art movement, philosophical issues, conceptualization of the philosophical underpinning Cubism art movement, the conclusion and the reference. In fact, this is an ongoing project. The project explores how Cubist techniques can be applied to post-consumer sachet plastic, converting it into durable and culturally resonant artifacts. This study combines reflective and diffractive methodology to document the designer's experience and the interplay between materials, tools, and theoretical concepts, ultimately demonstrating how art historical knowledge can drive sustainable design solutions across diverse material types. Now I want to look at what upcycling is. Upcycling is the creative reuse of discarded objects or materials in such a way as to create a product of higher quality than the original one. It is an act of taking something no longer in use and giving it a second life. So in fashion, remodeling can be classified under upcycling, where this old articles like garments and other articles can be used to create something new out of it. For instance, one can make a child's dress from the mother's old skirt and can even add certain features, fashion features, to improve upon it. Recycling is the process of collecting and processing materials that would otherwise be thrown away to create new products. This helps to conserve natural resources, reduce landfill waste, and decrease greenhouse gas emissions. In fact, this whole project is to help reduce the problem of pollution. To Sarkodie and Owusu, recycling is not only associated with waste management, but exceeds that traditional notion of waste management. And for instance, everybody knows that black is used for mourning or for attending programs like funerals. But with a change in accessories, black can be worn for dinners and other programs, parties. White, too, is also known to be used for joyful programs and activities. But these days, white is sometimes worn for funerals, especially for the Sunday programs. Now let's look at what Cubism is. Cubism was a revolutionary art movement that emerged in the early 20th century, pioneered by Picasso and then Georges Braque in Paris. It transformed the way artists represented reality by breaking objects into geometric shapes and reassembling them in abstract forms. The facets of Cubism art movement. The art movement talks about multiple perspectives where it depicts multiple or several viewpoints in a single image. Geometric shapes too are used. Cubists emphasize shapes like cubes, spheres, and cones, breaking down and reassembling objects to analyze and reconstruct subject matter. Their designs were presented in abstract forms. Then, their color management, they mostly use muted colors and warm colors like brown, green, and gray. They rejected the traditional way of doing things. Philosophical issues. Cubist artists, particularly Pablo Picasso and Georges Braque, raised several philosophical issues through their innovative and revolutionary art movement. They challenge the traditional way of representing reality by rejecting single-point perspective and realism. They emphasize on structure and then composition over representation. They also question the nature of perception by using fragmentation and modern life. They also displayed in their designs the relationship between art and reality, where they used warm colors and then colors like brown, gray to represent nature. This philosophy or idea was used to design some artifacts. This one, the inspiration was taken from a leaf, and leaf represents nature. So in the second picture, we can see the cubic shapes used to design a leaf. And this leaf was used to make a bedspread. Then the next one, the study used an uncertainty and a Dinkra symbol representing creativity, the complexity of life, and then wisdom. It was developed using the cubic shapes, and then these shapes or these designs were used. Sachet rubbers were used to make these designs, and then an umbrella was created or made from it. The next one, the inspiration was taken from a lamp, and then the cubic shapes were used to design the lamp, and then it was used to make an oil tablecloth. The inspiration is taken from a mask. We all know that Pablo Picasso used some of the geometric shapes on mask. And with the second image, we can see the shapes on the map, the geometric shapes, and these shapes were used to make fabric to design tote bag. So these things, these artifacts or these materials or objects were made out of discarded or unused fabrics or objects just to reduce the problem of pollution. Then this one too, the inspiration was taken from a bottle. Then the cubic shapes were also used to design a fabric to make an apron. The last part, that's my the conceptual framework. The first, the qubits, with the first one, the qubits, instead of holding on to the past artistic way of doing things, they embraced change and rejected the past. Then the second one, they brought in social revolution and political change, dynamism and movement. Then they celebrated technology and progress. In conclusion, fashion and textile design can be used or can tackle social, cultural, and environmental and technical challenges by drawing inspiration from various movements, making garments meaningful tools for storytelling and progress. Addressing the severe threat of waste materials to human health and the environment requires widespread adoption of sustainable waste management, including recycling, upcycling, composting, and then reducing single-use items. Those are my references. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Charity, and thank you for the wonderful presentation. And so here comes the end of our presentations. So we are ready to take questions. Our first presenter presented on data analytics adoption in advertising projects in Ghana. I don't know whether she's still online. So she concluded on the need for habit skill training, strong support systems with modern analytic tools, cultivation of data-driven culture, and bridging the knowledge gap in data analytic adoptions. These were some of the key issues that the findings came up with. The second presenter presented 3D animation on Akwabua's song, Pressure. And he showed a video which, in his opinion, adequately depicts pressure in the sense that was intended. I'm sure you have your questions ready for him. Then the third presenter, Maud Shell, also presented on everyday icons and aesthetics of pop art. Echideshan had a problem with the underrepresentation of African cultures in the emoji communication space, which resulted in somebody designing a get well soon design with Uachidi symbol, very disastrous. And so he made a presentation on it, and I think we can have some interrogation on that. Then the fifth presenter was, the presentation was on reimagining support for children's home. In his opinion, ways of getting donations, cash, and other things through to children's home was not adequate, and therefore suggesting a mobile donation app to enhance effective and easy donation process. I think it's a case study based on an experience he has with a particular home. And finally, Charity Opokwa touched on a very important issue, sustainability in design practices directed to fashion and textile design. And the work involved the creation of new products through recycling and upcycling processes. And so I'll just encourage us to keep our questions brief, concise, and then well-directed. If possible, mention the presenter whose duty is it to address the particular question you have. And so the floor is open for Q&A. Yes, sir.
Oh. My first question goes to the lady who talked about pop art. In your illustrations, as in, what I say, the 2D representational mannequins in the costumes, with skin color, Africa is, today, would I say, multiracial, as in our brothers, our brethren in South Africa, Zimbabwe, and then our Arab brethren in the north. But I didn't see any representation of us, the indigens, the original inhabitants of Africa, as in black skin. I don't know whether there's any reason behind that, or I didn't see it. I missed it out. I don't know. There's a second question. I don't know. That will be for Rock, but I don't know whether I should do it one at a time.
Yes, hello. Yes, I'm yet to. I'm still working on it, so I would add up those ones.
Okay. So you're going to at least represent us.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Then, Professor Rock, this is more of, not much of a question, but creating awareness. The apps used for, or software used for the animation, what particular software did you use? Okay. Okay. the way I'm observing technology as it's moving on, I foresee this, the approach to live action, 3D and 2D, they're all converging as one. I don't know whether you're aware of such a phenomenon. And so whatever apps you're using right now, if you look at 1-2 years ahead, you think they will still be very applicable, or they might themselves go through some kind of development?
So technology can make it, possible. There are certain, forces that play here. When you come to the 3D aspects, we can talk of GPU, which is graphic processor unit powering or doing the rendering for us, and then we can talk of CPU, as well as right now the advent of AI. Now, the manufacturers of these, devices wouldn't sit down for you to just come up with your innovations or your new inventions to just sweep them off their feet. Because GPU has been a very, very powerful aspect of rendering. But then up to date, it hasn't been able to overtake the CPU because there are bigger players like Intel and then AMD who are very, very powerful and huge. And it's very difficult for NVIDIA as well as Radeon. Even Intel came into the graphic processing manufacturing market. But then, as I said, they wouldn't allow you to just sweep their feet off. Maya, on the other hand, has even adopted an AI software. I've forgotten the name a little bit, but then it is not that easy for you to easily go in. So regardless of the evolution of technology, I think that it is incumbent on us to really build our creative abilities because that is what will give you that edge to control or to use these tools. This one, we're talking about AI. If you don't know how to use the creative language, you cannot put in the necessary command for the AI to even generate the desired results. So I think that even though AI is there, in the next 10 years, still the human resources will still be in great demand. And I encourage the young guys to really look into that area.
Okay. The human creative side, I understand perfectly well, but the developers of technology, in relation to software you use, if you stick onto it, you might be left behind because these new apps that are coming have the potency to threaten the kind of software you're using. You get it? Relegating them to the background. So they themselves, they're also even adjusting to it. That's why I put this question to you. Are you prepared for that approach? Because it's going to be a 3-in-1 thing. That's the way I see it. Even live action is now going to be simulation of live action, whereby the methods we use to generate animation like your 3D is now going to generate live action-like movies that will look very much like live action. So you realize that even today, they are now collecting picture data on the Dwayne Johnsons, the Kevin Harts, all those popular actors and they will live forever. You get it? And even some of us here could be superheroes one day, just by getting our photographs and turning us into live action heroes. And I can see that come even within the next, it's even already there. Just the accessibility. So it's something I'm sharing with the whole continent.
Yeah, I perfectly side with you. I've seen a couple of TV commercials produced with AI tools completely, 100%. And when you watch it, you can see that when you look at the picture realism or the picture photographic aspect of it, they really look very good. But then when you look at the motion aspect, that is where, if you have the third eye, that is where you begin to see certain flaws. So definitely, they will get there. That one, we should prepare for that. But then, it is also going to, be good for you as an artist to also move along with this trend. You need to also, improve upon your skills and then move along with this evolution. Because definitely it is going to get there, but still there will be the need of artists to work. But when you look at our movies, they have a certain quality. Regardless of the level of AI, they still don't inculcate AI into their shots because they think that they haven't gotten there yet, even though AI is very good. So definitely they will get there. There's no two ways about that. But it is incumbent on we, the individuals, to also prepare ourselves, await this.
I agree with you. It looks like we agree with each other, but I'm just creating an awareness. And I think it's happening so fast. That's one thing I want to also share with humanity. It's happening so fast that even prepare for it even next year. Because if you look at AI just with the last 1.5 years or so, it's fantastic. So we have to brace ourselves. It's coming very fast, very, very fast.
Thank you very much. Any other question for any of our presenters? Okay.
Quick one. The emojis, when was it developed? How long have they been developed? Have you developed them already? Or just a project? The emojis that you've developed? Yes. It's in process. None have come out. And how do you want to disseminate that information? Okay, I'm just bringing this out to the fact that sometimes we look at the high end, leaving the low-hanging fruits. Some of these things, I mean, on top of my mind, we can start playing with it. Yes, because most of the time we want to go to the high end. But these are low-hanging fruit that we can easily plug and it's trying to go. These days, stickers, like you were saying, but the most important thing, you need to have a trademark of your own. And when you start looking at it from the lower levels, you realize that you can still check it out, especially these days that we have social media running some of these things. In as much as we want to deal with academia, some of these things are easily democratized, which we can handle that easily. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prof, for that advice. I'm sure you've taken it and noted. All right, any other question? Sorry? And I tried it. I don't know. It's just marvelous. So, but the good news is that it's always the artist who is able to use it well. I mentioned photography earlier in one of my comments this morning. When the camera came, people were like, a picture made by a camera or with a camera is not art. Now today, we all agree that everybody can use the camera, but it's only the artists who can create images with the camera. And it's obvious. If you look at what people are doing, young guys are doing with the camera, it's wonderful because they are creative and because they can use it well. I think the same thing was with, even when the computer came, some of us started teaching the computer graphics and we had to fight a lot of people. If it's created with a computer, it's not art. It hasn't got that, it loses out of the human touch. But today, what can we say about digital painting and all of that? People are doing marvelous with the computer as far as art is concerned. So the same thing should happen with this AI thing. I believe we are in the position to use it better than any other person. And that is what we have to watch out for. And that is what our big man was trying to point out to. Okay, thank you very much. Next question. We have some few minutes left. Okay, so I must say I'm so happy. I nearly couldn't make it to this conference because of some few issues, but I think I would have missed a lot if I didn't come. And I'm happy for everything that I have enjoyed here. I've learned, and I'm sure you have also learned. And very big thank you to my presenters here. You have been marvelous. And to you, wonderful audience, for your questions and for your attentive participation. I'm sure the other announcements will come, but I believe that this is something we as executives are not going to end it, anytime soon. If anything, we want to promise that it's going to continue because we have so much to gain from these interactions. So on that note, I wish to thank you all. My name is Patrick de Graaf Jansen. I've been the moderator for this session. Thank you very much.
I think I perfectly agree with the last speaker that this section has been very exciting. So at this moment, we are almost coming to a close of the program. And I will invite Professor Diapia for an international working group General Assembly. He has a short presentation on that. Oh, you can.
Okay. Well, I have 3 microphones in front of me, so no matter what, one of them will work. All too soon, we've come to the end of this very important but fruitful conference. I cannot agree more with Prof. de Graaf that this has been a successful and quite an eventful activity. My job is just to make it snappy. We are supposed to look at Africa International Dialogue, but I think that dialogue has already been carved for us. We were supposed to issue a communique to this effect. And when I was looking at the things that our rapporteurs have given us, it drew my mind on what happened 5 years ago when we met in the University of Education, Winneba. That was the first time. That was IDEC. Yeah. And at the end of the day, the communique that came up. So I decided to revisit that communique and see, looking at what our rapporteurs have given us. And I must say that most of the things that we have seen today were captured in over there, but then there has been a step ahead of them. Some of them, we are yet to actually run with them. And I have 3 areas that I want to, about 7, but I'll highlight 3 areas that came up over there and for which resonate with what we have done and resonate with those things. In 2019, when we met, we were looking at readjusting design for Africans. And at the end of the day, the communique that came up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And out of that, our reporters' activities that they brought resonate with 7 of them. But like I said, I'm going to look at only 3 because the others are actually interlinked. And I believe that when I finish with those 3, we all would agree with me. If you have anything otherwise, we can also talk about it. It's a communique that we are all subscribing to. And so I'll read, and if we think that that is where we are going, we will all have to agree and put it up there. The first that I'm going to look at, I'm going to read is the fact that during that time, we emphasize the uniqueness of African design and the fact that we have what it takes to create our world in the next 30 years. Follow up to that communique, and from the things that reporters have given us, and we are adding that the next 30 years is still with us, but we have expanded the 30 years to include the 21st century, which is for Africans, and therefore the 30 years starts now. We are no more waiting for 30 years. So the communique reads, the uniqueness of African design and the fact that we have what it takes to create our world in this 21st century, which is for Africans, starts now. And therefore, we need to move and not stop and wait to 30 years. So that is the communique. That the uniqueness of African design starts now. The 21st century is for Africans, and therefore, we need to move and not to wait until 30 years. If that is what we agree on, we will want to subscribe to that. If anybody have a different idea to that, you can just let me know, and then I will reformat my statement. If there is something that you think we can add to this part, you can just raise up your hand. You will let me know, and I can add to the statement that we have made. Let me repeat. We emphasize the uniqueness of Africa design and the fact that we have what it takes to create our world. However, the 21st century is for Africans, and therefore we need to move and act now. Delegates, participants, this is one of the communiques we want to issue out. If there's anything that you think we can amend or add on, let me see. But otherwise, we take it as something that we can run with. And it's going to be the voice that we will send out to our Paddy community. Yes, anybody else? Anybody with a different opinion? Okay, maybe we'll do the Ghanaian parliamentarian. If that is what we all agree, can we please raise up and say, yes, we agree? Thank you very much. One of the things that came up in the last time was the fact that we have been made to realize the pedagogical tools, that is our traditional African systems, that Africa can use our traditional African systems to adjust our design education. That was what we agreed on. Now, what we are adding on is the fact that these systems and ways are unlimited, and we can continue to explore and expand the discussions and make it realistic in the broader context. Let me repeat that. We have made to realize that the pedagogical tools, that is our traditional African systems that we have as Africans, can be used to adjust our ways in the design education. Now, these systems and ways are unlimited, and we can continue to expand, explore, and discuss it for the benefit of the next generation. Let me repeat that. We have made to realize the pedagogical tools, that is our traditional African systems, we can use to adjust our ways in the design education. We believe that these ways are unlimited, and we can continue to explore and expand the discussions and make it real. If that is our voice, if that is what we are thinking, let's agree on unless otherwise somebody have in a broad terms. All that we are saying that the system that we need to change the world as Africans is already with us. The indigenous systems, they are unlimited. All that we have to do is to continue to explore and expand and use them and discuss them. And we need to start now. Anybody with a different idea? Other than that, we can agree and say, yes, we agree. Let it go. Okay. Now the final one, which I'm saying the final one, not because the others are not important, but all the others are already in. But these three are the key things. So the final one, as design educators, researchers, and practitioners, we not only know design thinking is critical, but that the relevant traditional processes and concepts for educating the next generation is paramount. However, we need to be intentional in creating awareness for the next generation. So what we are just adding on is the fact that we need to be intentional in creating awareness for the next generation. So let me read that again. As educators, researchers, and practitioners, we not only know design thinking is critical, but that the relevant traditional processes and concepts for educating the next generation is paramount. However, we need to be intentional in creating this awareness for the next generation. In other words, we are saying that, yes, we know, we talk about it, we can do all the talking that we want, but if we are not intentional, we will not make it happen, especially with the next generation that we are training. If there is anything different, I'm opening it up for anybody to read. Other than that, we accept this to be a critical point in our communique, and then we can all agree and subscribe to it. So are you raising to give me something, or you agree with that? Okay. Please, if we agree, shall we raise our hands and say, yes, we agree to this? All right. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. This will be the communique that we are drafting, and it will be on the pages for our Pan-African design community. And we expect that all other, I'm not too sure whether our international colleagues are still online. We expect that all other local agencies, Design Kenya, South Africa, Zimbabwe, and Nigeria, President continue, Botswana, Zimbabwe, and Egypt. Yeah, okay. They are all subscribed to this as our working tool for the next year or two. Before I sit down for the MCs to come and close, the certificates are going to be sent to you through your email. We want to be sure that your emails are correct. Some of you are indicating the names. And so please, immediately we leave here, go there and make sure that your name or the name you want to be on the certificate is captured very well. I want to take this opportunity to say thank you. Can we have all the committee members coming in, those outside, please? Call Dr. Amankwa, Professor, and the team to really come here. We want to acknowledge them. Please, can we have them coming? Call them. So, gentlemen, please come up. Ladies and gentlemen, the committee members. Professor, Dr. Amankwa, please, we are waiting for you to come. Yes, that's the chairman of the local organizing committee. Yes, let's give it up to them. So, Dr. Amankwa, go. Where's Dr. Amankwa? She's coming. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, these guys, I must say, have done such a Herculean task. At a point, we nearly lost hope. When we decided to host this, it was not too easy. And even when we set up the committee, yes, that is our conference mama. Oh, please, let's give it out to her. Yes, Mrs. Join us. You've opened for somebody to come. You wanted to stay back. Dr. J is with the logistics, together with Dr. As for Dr. Amankwa, yes. Two Amankwas, I've even forgotten. There's Dr. Amankwa and there's Dr. Amankwa. There's John Kelly Amankwa and there's Dr. Akusia Amankwa. Okay. So it's Bernard also in. Okay. Bernard. Bernard and Kelly Amankwa. Yes, Ajo, is she there? Please bring her in. She left. Oh, she had a class. Okay. Now these gallant ladies and gentlemen have held forth. Now let me tell you something. Sometimes on the platform, somebody will put a post in the midnight. And then I'm looking at it and I say, who is going to respond this in this midnight? But the idea has come. And they are harassing us. And the person who harassed most is Dr. Akusia Amankwa. And she'll be put in the midnight. And I said, this woman, she won't sleep. But by and large, they've pulled the blaze out of the fire, blazing fire. And we want to say thank you to them. Let's appreciate them. Let's appreciate them. Dr. Bonsu has been the one handling the correspondence and other things. And so most of you, if you have seen the mails, that is the man behind the mails. So he's been there. Mrs. Nunu is head of rapporteur, and she's compiled everything that has gone on here. They put them together. This documentation that we are talking about, they've done it. And of course, they did not do those things alone. They also have their committees that they worked with. And so we want to take this opportunity to say thank you to them and to all committee members who are not here. We appreciate your efforts. We've seen the logistics team over there, the rapporteur team, the logistics and other members whom you've seen them, those on the table registration and other stuff. The other good news is, and this will escape me, that, I just announced that we have a system which we can track, but we track that it is still in here. Thankfully, we've seen it. And so we are going, we are ending this on a very good note. It was going to be a disaster. It happened that it was somewhere, and we've managed to track. This technology thing, it works so. So on behalf of Paddy, with the president, on behalf of Design Ghana, we want to say thank you very much, guys. We are not done yet. After these people have gone, we will have to do some debriefing, but we want to appreciate you. We want to say we are grateful for your time, your efforts. I know some of you financial sacrifices have all contributed to the success of this. Thank you very much. God bless you all. Please, you may take a seat. Before we sit, I sit and give it to the MCs, we also want to acknowledge the president of Pan-African Design Institute, Doc Dati. Please, let's see you up. Let's see you up. Well, okay, she doesn't want to come. He is heading the board, the Pan-African Design Institute board. He's the chair of the board, made up of members from South Africa, Zimbabwe, Nigeria, Ghana, Kenya, of course, Prof. Please sit down. Thank you. Prof. Mugendi are all parts of the board, and he happens to be the chairman of the board. He flew all the way from UK just for the purpose of this. And let's give it up to him. We couldn't get strong sponsorship as we were going to fly all the board members in. Well, Prof. Des Lamsha was ready to come, but at the last hour, he had some serious emergency with the family, and so he couldn't join. But we had already made out the arrangement. So that is the board. They are pushing us. Beyond that, we have the Design Ghana executive members. Beyond Ghana executive members. The vice, and we are all acting. They are all acting. The vice president is here. Professor Youngson, please, let's see you. Let's see you. Please come. Please come. Prof, come up. Come up. Come up. Come up. Come up. So that we can see you. They want to capture you. Mr. Joseph Amewu, yeah, that is the hard-working organizing secretary from Whole Technical University. Whole Technical University. And, of course, the treasurer, or we'll say the financial secretary. You don't have a treasurer, it's a financial secretary. You can't keep our money. Our monies are in the bank. And that's Dr. Deborah, Ralisa Deborah. She's here. She have money, but you can't keep the money. So please, let's give it up to her. The secretary, unfortunately, is in the U.S. He came earlier on, but something cropped up and he had to fly back. That's Simon Chawi, yeah. So he's, and then myself, the president. So that's Design Ghana. And of course, we are all acting executives. We were supposed to have our annual general meeting. Unfortunately, members, so we'll do it online. And because we need to quickly do the elections and get our executives in place. Anybody here who is a member of Design Ghana, paid member? Let me see you by hand. Paid member. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Oh, somebody doesn't know whether she's paid or not, so it doesn't even. But from here, if you want to be a member, you have to see Mr. Joe Amewu. We will need to strengthen this organization. That is the voice that we can have as designers, as artists, as people who are into that industry. I always say that as for artists, because they get money early, they don't care about joining any other organization. But you should know that the future is key. And so let us put ourselves together. Yesterday, the Pro-Vice Chancellor was so happy to see this organization. He wanted to see why the other design guys are not in. But he was happy and he encouraged us to continue. So, guys, this is Design Ghana for you. From here, we will just discuss our activities online. And if there is anything that coming up from Design Ghana, it's coming up from this, supported by Felix, who is the board chair of PADI. Thank you very much. And then please, you may have your seats. Finally, we want to take this opportunity to thank our partners, international partners. You know, Design Ghana, we are affiliated to some of these international partners. And if you look at we have the Cumulus Desis, and there's, is it IGA? Yes, Association of Graphic Designers, International Graphic Designers. So these are our partners. We affiliate to them. And so if you see Design Ghana, it's not an isolated organization. It's worldwide. and these people have been supporting us. Let me say this before I sit down. All abstracts that have come, and whether it was presented or not, we are going to give ourselves 3 weeks for all the abstracts that have been accepted to bring the full papers. Within 3 weeks, if your paper is not in, it means that you are not ready. What we are going to do is we are collaborating with 2 journals, of course, reputable journals. Journal of Engineering and Graphic Artists in Serbian University, and then that is Journal of Science and Technology. They've agreed to peer review. After we have done our peer review and accepted the articles, they will also do their peer review and make sure that we publish all these articles in those 2 journals. So you either find yours in JUST or you find it in the JEC. And so please take the opportunity, take the advantage of this, and don't miss this opportunity to publish your work in this journal. So today, we give ourselves on the 15th. 15th. Is 15th too early or too late? Profession is here? Okay. 15th is okay. Okay. So on the 15th of August, we want to see all full papers being dropped in. You use the same link as you send your abstracts, and that was reported to you. And of course, the fact that you have sent your article does not mean it is accepted. It will go through the peer review, and if there are corrections and things that need to be done, we will alert you, or the reviewers' comment you take into consideration, polish them, and then you bring it for us to publish them for you. On behalf, once again, of Paddy and then Design Ghana, we want to say thank you very much. After the closing activities, I'll leave it to you, and then we can just go home peacefully. Thank you very much. Is there anything that I've missed? Hey, yes. You see, where he's coming from. Please, if you have not paid, go and pay. You see the financial person, that's where they are looking at. I know some of you, yes, if you have not paid, we'll give you a certificate. And let me tell you this. The publications that we are going to do, it is going to cost us. And that is one of the things that if you yourself were going to even publish or on your own, maybe you could have spent more than the 800 or 600. But coming from this is going to be subsidized, but we'll push and get it through. So if you have not paid, remember your work will not be part of those submissions. It could be accepted, but it will say, no, please, your financial obligations have not been met. And so we will do that too. Am I okay? You are satisfied. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. All right, please come. My co-MC, please come. All right, so I think that we've had a wonderful session, and we are looking forward to, of course, enjoy all the outputs from the conference. And we know it's going to become bigger and better as we go forward. So with my co-MC here, we say thank you, Prof.
Last one. Design Ghana is in this conference, but we want to do it biannual. So the executives are thinking of where do we go from here? If an institution decides to host it, we will have a discussion with them. We don't want to do it only in KNUST. We want it to move around the other institutions that are affiliated. So this is 2025, Design Ghana 2025. We hope to see where we are going to have 2027 Design Ghana conference. So that has come to stay. Take note of that.
Members, when you register you need to make your payments, and then that will also help with the discounts going forward. So we would like to see more people registering to become Design Ghana members, and then you also pay to become a member so that when you are organizing these conferences, you have a discount, because we really do need the funding to help us bring or create these kinds of conferences for us, okay? And when you are a member and you pay, when you are registering for the conference, there's always a discount. So it's better to be a member so that you can also participate in the other activities that we would be driving going forward. So we thank you all for listening, and then I'll hand over to my QMC. Is there anything we have missed, or we are all good?
I think she
Close
would
for the
agree
day?
with me that we are good.
Yes.
So
Yeah, so thank you. And then we will nominate Mr. Kusiapo to pray for us. Yes. Closing prayer. I knew that would come, so.
Let's bow down our heads and pray. Our dear Father, we thank you for this gathering this evening. We thank you for the wisdom you endowed us with in our deliberations. And then we pray that in the future, whatever meetings we have, the same spirit of understanding, harmony, and wisdom will prevail. Amen.
Amen.
yes, so if you have suggestions on how we can do it better, it's always welcome.
Yeah.
The Design Ghana conference email that you have, you can always send us email.
Yes, we will send you a feedback form.
Yes, so you take note of that. And
yeah, and before we go, please, our online colleagues, we thank you also for connecting with us for the past 2 days. We've not forgotten about you online, and we thank you so much, and we hope that next time you continue to be part of our event. So thank you, and enjoy the rest of your day, evening, and morning, wherever you are in the world, across Africa. So thank you.
We are taking a photo, a last photo in front. A photo in front. As we say it in Ghana, to show that you were here some.